And now, reporting for Outside the Lines, Bob Lee.
Super Bowls are set to elevate players to the skies, but there's been an uncommon, if not absurd, amount of attention down at ground level this past week on Tom Brady, his ankle, and his whereabouts. But there is another Super Bowl veteran who's more than happy to have you watch his feet at work as he quite literally walks the walk. For thousands of miles to remember the sacrifices made less than 10 miles from where he played his Super Bowl season. Chris Connolly is on the road.
In the shadow of the Ozarks, on a bone-chilling, wind-whipped January morning in western Arkansas, George Martin is back on the road. Along a country highway, this former New York Giants defensive lineman passes through small towns, walks past churches and stores, fields and the unexpected things in them, curious livestock, and more curious people.
Here you go, young lady.
Thank you, sir.
And don't be bashful, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
It's one more day in the heart of the country that this one-time NFL star has set out to cross.
How you doing?
From east to west, on foot, on what he calls a journey for 9/11, to raise money and awareness for the first responders on that tragic day.
There are neighbors, there are brothers and sisters, and they themselves, unselfishly, put themselves in a position of helping us. And as a result of that, 5 years, 6 years now, we see that a lot of them are suffering from the ill effects of that. And you can't help but say you want to try and help those that put their lives on the line for you.
Yet Martin has also come here for personal reasons, to fulfill a fascination about this land that he developed as a child in South Carolina.
That country boy that always wondered what was on the other side of that grove of trees or just beyond that hill wants to know what's off the beaten path. You know, it's like Robert Frost once said, I want to take that road less traveled.
What happened when people would say to you, George, you're having a midlife crisis?
I would say you're absolutely right. How perceptive. But unlike most people, I'm not going to go out and buy a red Lamborghini.
He began the third Sunday in September at the George Washington Bridge and the Meadowlands, where he once played with distinction as a member of a Giants team that won a Super Bowl for Bill Parcells.
Would this be easier if a guy like Bill Parcells were in your ear yelling,
Martin, come on!
Well,
This is why you lift all them weights.
Even though he's down in Florida now, it doesn't prevent him from yelling in my ear, literally. He calls me from time to time, and he always said, Martin, where the hell are you now?
Then to our nation's capital before heading west for good. Since he began, George Martin has lost 30 pounds and gone through 17 pairs of sneakers. He's walked more than 1,600 miles, and he isn't even halfway done. Each day starts the same way, a briefing with his team.
My concern is the winds. You looking at 20-degree temperature with, actually 30-degree temperature with a 20-degree wind chill factor. So the wind's going to be brutal out there.
Some media interviews.
Every step that we make is a labor of love. When you think about those guys responding...
And then back on the road. He'd hoped to be in San Francisco by Super Bowl Sunday, but now says he'll need another 3 months to get there. He's raised about $1.7 million of the $10 million he still hopes to raise. But it hasn't diminished his enthusiasm. In fact, the man who normally works as an executive for an insurance company in New York City is having a great time out here.
Now, if you were still doing what you were doing a year ago, George, what would you be doing right now?
Right now, I'd be prepping for Major League Baseball training camp, getting all of our brochures together.
Instead of wearing a suit, he's living a dream, motivated every step of the way by the chance to help those who helped so many on September 11th. They are always on his mind, never more so than when he addresses this high school in the town of Magazine, Arkansas, toward day's end.
I want people like you and you and you to hear the reason that George Martin, at 54 years old, is walking 3,200 miles from the George Washington Bridge in New York all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, so that I can make you aware of what more than 10,000 people are going through. The second thing is, George Martin hopes to raise $10 million to help in their medical treatment.
At the end of his talk, he calls to the stage the school's teachers and local law enforcement, and then the man who played 14 seasons in the NFL and continues each day on his journey for 9/11, has a final thought.
You want someone to call hero? You want someone to look up to? You want somebody to aspire to? Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, please do me the honor of giving all of these modern day heroes a standing ovation, and I thank you.
After some autographs and time with the kids, the road beckons once more, and George Martin is out there again, secure in the knowledge that he is on the right road.
It's a life-affirming event for me, and this is the best thing that I've ever done without any regrets.
Chris Connolly with George Martin, whose journey is ongoing this morning, has him jumping ahead a couple of miles to join us from a studio in Oklahoma City. George, it's good to see you. How many miles a day are you able to manage?
Well, so far, Bob, we're averaging 22 miles a day. Our best day has been 30 miles, and our minimum is 20 miles per day. So it's quite an undertaking.
All right, you quoted Robert Frost. What is off this beaten path on the road less traveled? What have you discovered?
The American spirit of generosity, of kindness, appreciation. It has been, every day has been an exciting adventure for us, and we are just delighted to be ambassadors for a Journey for 911 and represent those first responders and the rescue and recovery people.
What is the fact that your old boys, the Giants, are in the Super Bowl? What has that done for the visibility here of your efforts?
Well, I think it's an added dimension because people now can harken back to the Giant glory days, of which I was a part of proudly as their team captain. And I can sit there and I can support those individuals that are now current Giants and wish them well in their accomplishment to become world champions. I wish them the best.
Where do you think you're going to be Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, I'm sure that I won't be in Arizona. I will be here in Oklahoma City, and I will be cheering the guys from afar.
And got to get your quick take on the game. It's your birthright as an American. I think I know who you're going to pick.
Well, I'm certain that I will go for the boys in blue, and that's the New York Football Giants.
Well, you can follow him on the line. He's wearing a live GPS transmitter. You can watch him traverse this country. George Martin, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, Bob.
All right. And next up, the age of David Stern. From the players who were set